Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Harrisburg City Council Legislative Session, Tuesday, October 11, 2016. Calling this meeting to order at 6:10 p.m. Mr. Petrosky, please do the roll call.
Mr. Allett.
Present.
Mr. Baltimore.
Here.
Ms. Daniels.
Present.
Ms. Hodges.
Present.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Majors.
Present.
Ms. Williams.
Here. Mr. Johnson is excused this evening. Moving on to invocation. Mr. Allett.
There's certainly a lot of things to keep in our mind, so if we could first keep in mind those both victims and survivors of breast cancer, as it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also victims of sexual assault. I think that's something that we've heard a lot about in the national landscape right now. Victims of the hurricane, both in our own country and in Haiti and across the Caribbean. For Stephen Crawford, the former mayor's brother. The Richardson family, and all those in need, if we could just bow our heads in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allett. Moving on to Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Hodges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Hodges. Moving on to communications, we have none this evening. Moving on to courtesy of the floor. This time, I invite the public to come up to the mic. I'm starting at my right. Anyone who would like to come at this time, please do so. In the middle, anyone who would like to come to the mic, please do so now.
Good evening. I'm Daniel D. Graham, 217 North 2nd Street here in Harrisburg. First, my request to Mayor Pappenfuse and City Council, please have police officers on 2nd Street Wednesday night and Thursday, and especially Friday and Saturday nights. Check the Sawyer's restaurant for noise violations. Now, most of the time, if not every time, this summer when they had special music concerts, they shut off their music concerts by 10 o'clock in the evening at the latest, sometimes before, and that was good. Also, there are some fellows who play music instruments on the sidewalk at the pizza shop next to Zembi's Cafe restaurant on Friday and Saturday nights. And sometimes they get loud. They use amplifying equipment, microphones and speakers, and they get loud and they pound on drums. These past 3 weeks, Friday and Saturday nights, they were playing that loud music until past 11:30 in the evening. And my request is to please have police officers there and check on them, check the time, and make sure that they shut off their music by 10 o'clock in the evening at the latest. And to shut off all speakers and microphones by 10 o'clock in the evening at the latest. And I would appreciate that, and I'm sure my neighbors would appreciate that also. Okay, another issue, as I said before, I ask the city of Harrisburg and the state to support adding one additional passenger train on the Amtrak line from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh. The train we have now it's a good train. It's a beautiful, thrilling ride, but the schedule if you go from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh, the schedule requires at least one overnight stay in Pittsburgh, and the hotels that I checked in Pittsburgh are awfully expensive. So my request is to, for the city of Harrisburg and the state to add a second train leaving Harrisburg early in the morning, and it's a 5.5 hour trip on the train from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh. Again, I suggest a train running from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh in the morning, and then coming back from Pittsburgh to Harrisburg in the afternoon or early evening. That way, a train passenger could make the round trip on the train in one day and have some time to spend in Pittsburgh and to make the round trip on the train from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh, round trip in one day, and not have to spend money to stay overnight at a hotel in Pittsburgh, unless, of course, you want to spend more time in Pittsburgh. And one other thing, back in June, I went on a beautiful Amtrak train trip that was fantastic, from Harrisburg to Philadelphia and Philadelphia to Washington, D.C., and then I continued riding the same train on the line going across Northern Virginia and West Virginia, all in daylight, on June 22nd, and then continued riding the same train overnight to Indianapolis, Indiana, and Chicago. And the ride I liked the best was going across Virginia and West Virginia, and went over the Blue Ridge Mountains and across the Shenandoah Valley, then some more mountains, and then through West Virginia mountains. And again, it was a beautiful, excellent ride on the Amtrak trains. Praise God. And the Amtrak people and the other railroad people also did a great job, great job. So again, here in Pennsylvania, again, I asked the city and the state of Pennsylvania to support adding another round-trip passenger train from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh. And again, it is a great, fun way to travel. Thank you much. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Anyone else in the middle, please? Anyone else to my left? Thank you. We're moving on with the agenda. Moving on to approval of minutes, approval of the legislative session minutes of September the 28th, 2016. Council members, any deletions, omissions, or corrections? Hearing none, minutes will stand as approved. Moving on to reports to committee. Report from Chair Daniels on the Building and Housing Committee meeting of September 29th, 2016. Ms. Daniels, are you ready for your report?
Yes.
Thank you.
We had a meeting, a Building and Housing Committee meeting on September 29th of this year. Present were President of Council Wanda Williams and Councilman Cornelius Johnson. We discussed 3 legislative items, but there was information that was missing for 3 of them, so we'll have an additional hearing on October 20th. One was an appeal. One decision that I had recommended for the agenda was an appeal from a decision by the Architectural Review Board, and that matter was resolved between the resident and the review board prior to today's meeting. So there's no item to vote on today. But if residents could attend the October 20th hearing, that would be great.
Thank you, Ms. Daniels. Moving on to ordinance for first reading, we have none this evening. Moving on to ordinance for amendment, we have none as well. Moving on to ordinance for final passage, Bill 18, 2016. Mr. Petrosky, please read that into record.
Sure.
Bill 18 of 2016 was moved by Mr. Majors, seconded by Ms. Daniels. It's an ordinance to amend and update Section 9-103 of the codified ordinances of the city relating to street cuts and excavations to add requirements for sidewalks, increase and modify fees associated with street cuts, add time and duration restrictions on permits, authorize city-performed or directed repairs for non-compliant properties, and to authorize the city to secure reimbursements and lien properties benefiting from city-performed or directed repairs and related costs.
Any questions or comments, council members? Mr. Majors, you're okay with that?
Yes, I'm fine with it, Council
Thank
President.
you. Hearing no other further questions or comments, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Mr. Baltimore?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Hodges?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Bill 18 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution 72, 2016.
Resolution 72 of 2016 was moved by Ms. Daniels, seconded by Ms. Hodges. It's a resolution to review the application for a certificate of appropriateness filed by Ms. Maritza Robert for the replacement of wooden swing-out garage doors with a metal rollover garage door decorative elements at the property located at 587 South French Street.
That will be placed in Building and Housing Committee. Moving on to Resolution 72,
Madam President,
73.
the administration had requested we withdraw at this point Resolution 73.
Withdraw it?
Yeah, for tonight, yes.
Okay. So we're officially withdrawing Resolution 73. Can we ask you why?
Yeah.
I believe that there was a concern about going forward on the 19th with the whole program and talking about publicly the history of this in that short period of time, if I understood it correctly. So
Okay. Well,
it's a long program with lots of history.
understood. Okay. All right, moving on to Resolution 74, 2016.
Resolution 74 of 2016 was moved by Ms. Williams, seconded by Ms. Hodges. It's a resolution approving an assignment agreement with Pinnacle Health for maintenance of a Welcome to Harrisburg sign and lighting in the PennDOT right-of-way at the Paxton Street intersection with the Interstate 83 2nd Street on and off ramps.
Any questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Mr. Baltimore?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Hodges?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes,
Resolution 74 passes.
thank you. Moving on to old business, but before I do old business, I just want to make a statement. Mr. Boyd, who has been a constant resident and attendee of the Harrisburg City Council meetings, he is hospitalized, and I just want to take a moment out and say to him that our prayers from City Council go out to him for a speedy recovery. We certainly do miss him. He's here at every meeting, and we certainly wish him well. Moving on to old business. Any old business, council members? Moving on to new business. Start with Ms. Hodges. Would you have any new business?
Yes, I have a couple things. Councilman Johnson will host a public safety meeting on November 1st at 5:30. The Parks and Recreation Committee will host, well, I'm the chair, we'll have a joint meeting with the Building and Housing Committee on October 20th starting at 5:30. Also, just keep in mind that our first annual pre-safety trick-or-treat, fest will be October 26th at both of the fire stations, one located uptown and one on the hill, and more information will come shortly. And also this week is, Fire Prevention Week. And I know the city of Harrisburg, we're hosting 2 events for the youth. One was today from 6 to 8 at Fire Station number 2 on the 16th Street, and the other one is going to be Thursday, October 13th from 6 to 8 at 6th Street location.
Thank you, Ms. Hodges. Mr. Allett.
Just want to announce a budget and finance meeting on October 19th at 5:30 here in council chambers. We will be discussing a debt policy bill as well as a general fund balance bill.
Thank you very much. Ms. Daniels?
Yes, there's a Building and Housing Committee meeting on October 20th.
Mr. Majors?
Just wanted to announce that guess this was on Saturday, City Council participated in the National Black MBA, their first field day that they had. It was an event to raise money for their Leadership of Tomorrow program, and City Council was one of 6 teams that participated, and just wanted to report that City Council actually placed our team made up of Councilman Alec, Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Hodges, myself. We had a young man from Bishop McDevitt High School and another one from who works with Highmark. We placed in first place at the event. So it was a good day just to get out and engage with not just the youth but other residents of our community in the spirit of fun and physical activity. So I just want to encourage everyone in the city to stay physically active here. And I think that's all I have for.
Well, thank you. Well, I think congratulations to the 4 of you.
Destiny
Wonderful.
forgot her trophy.
Oh, okay. Thank you for a job well done representing the city of Harrisburg. Mr. Baltimore?
I'll be piggybacking with Councilman Allett on his Budget and Finance meeting on the 19th for a Community and Economic Development meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And I didn't know that you guys had ringers. You didn't tell me you had the young kids, so you had a couple of ringers.
It helped, believe me.
It helps.
Okay. An administration committee is looking to set up additional meetings as well. At this time, I have left the date of October 24th open. I'll make sure I confirm that within the next couple of days. We received a thank you card from the family of Roberta Bucelis, who her daughter is Joni Willingham, who is our personnel director here for the city of Harrisburg, on the passing of her mother. So I just wanted to let council members know that she sent a thank you card. Also, I'm proud to say that my husband won the direct support professional for the state of Pennsylvania. He was chosen among 200 other applicants. He represented the state of Pennsylvania in Chicago. His picture is now on the billboard going towards I-83 South.
Okay.
So it's a wonderful accomplishment, and congratulations to my husband. I wanted the public to know that. Thank you. Also, something else. The EAC, we are trying to get that together. I'm looking for any additional resumes to please come in. Send them to Kirk Petrosky at cityofharrisburg.com. We will be looking to have a meeting within the next couple of weeks. Anything else, council members?
It's K. Petrosky at cityofhpg.com.
Okay, oh, didn't I say that? I'm sorry. Okay, K. Petrosky at cityofharrisburg.com. HPG. City of HPG, Mr. Petrosky. Okay, CaptainKirk.com. .com. Thank you. Anyone interested, please submit your resumes to us as soon as possible. We are looking for anyone who has had interest in filling that position on the EAC committee. Any other new business council members?
Just wanted to make one more announcement. I know it may conflict with the city council meeting, but I think this is also important. I know that the city's working on the master site development plan for the city for Reservoir Park, and it is going to be held on October 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. I know we've made announcements about it before, but since this is the last council, this is the council meeting prior to that event being occurred, I just wanted to make that announcement available. It'll be held at 2020 State Street, which is the Kappa Omega building located there. It also hosts a Manna Cafe. So if city residents are interested in having input onto the future use of the Reservoir Park, we're encouraging everyone to come and give your ideas so that the city gets ideas from its residents for the future use of our park, so it can be, we can continue the park for generations to come.
One more.
Thank you, Mr. Major. Mr. Baltimore?
In relation to what Mr. Major just talked about, the planning of Reservoir Park, Jackie, I just wanted, Ms. Parker, I'd like to put this on record to say that maybe one of those tennis courts could be used for a batting cage. I'm serious, just the framework of it. Somebody could go up there with a bucket of balls and, so you got 3 up there and they're not being used, so maybe.
I just want you to know that there's another request for that.
Really? Good, good.
So we've got lots.
Okay,
But
good.
no, we'll take that in. We've got requests for handball, we've got requests for pickleball, we've got requests, so more ideas the better. We'll
Good.
certainly put that in.
Good,
Okay.
thank you.
Anything else, council members? Here are no other announcements, no new business. I have
Motion to adjourn?
a motion adjourned for Mr. Baltimore. May I have a second? Second, Ms. Hodges. Meeting is officially adjourned.